I never imagined that money could erase an entire family. For most of my life, I believed we were close. Not perfect, but united. Sunday lunches, birthdays, small traditions that made me think we would always be there for each other. That illusion lasted until the day my father died, and left behind something far more destructive than grief. My name doesn't matter. Some details of this story were changed to protect privacy, but everything you're about to hear is real. My father was a quiet man. He worked his entire life, never complained, never showed emotion easily. He believed in sacrifice, in saving, in doing things the right way. My mother used to say that he planned more for the future than he lived in the present. When he passed away, it wasn't sudden. He was sick for a while, and in a strange way we were prepared. Or at least we thought we were. The funeral was calm, respectful, almost peaceful. My siblings stood beside me, my mother held my hand, and for a moment grief brought us closer. We cried together, we hugged, we promised that nothing would change. We were wrong. A few weeks later, my mother told us that my father had left a will. None of us were surprised. He was organized, meticulous. What surprised me was how nervous she seemed when she mentioned it. She avoided eye contact. Her hands trembled slightly. I told myself it was just grief. The reading of the will happened on a quiet afternoon. We sat around the dining table, the same table where we had shared meals for decades. The lawyer cleared his throat and began reading. At first, everything seemed normal. The house, the savings, personal belongings, divided among us. Then he paused. There was something else. A property none of us had ever heard of. A piece of land registered only in my father's name, worth far more than everything else combined. The room changed instantly. I remember the silence, the way my brother leaned forward, the way my sister's expression hardened, the way my mother suddenly looked exhausted. According to the will, that land was to be divided, but not equally. A larger portion was left to my older brother. I didn't care about the money. Not at first. What bothered me was the secrecy. Why had we never heard about it? Why was it hidden? And why him? Questions filled the room, but no one spoke. The lawyer finished his explanation and left us alone with something far heavier than grief. That night, the messages started. My sister accused my mother of manipulation. My brother became defensive. He said our father had his reasons, that he had helped more, that he deserved more. I stayed silent. I thought time would calm things down. Instead, it made everything worse. Weeks turned into months. Conversations became arguments. Arguments became silence. Family gatherings stopped. Holidays were cancelled. And slowly, sides were chosen. I began noticing things I had ignored my whole life. How my brother had always been favored. How my father trusted him with finances. How decisions were made behind closed doors. One night, my mother finally told me the truth. She sat on the edge of her bed, staring at the floor, and said something I will never forget. That land wasn't supposed to be a surprise. She explained that years earlier, my father had made an investment using money he inherited from his own family. Money that was meant to stay within blood relatives. Then she said something that changed everything. My sister and I were not biologically his. I felt like the room collapsed around me. She told me that my father knew, that he chose to raise us anyway, that he loved us. But when it came to inheritance, he followed what he believed was right. I didn't cry. I couldn't. My body went numb. Suddenly the secrecy made sense, the unequal division, the silence. But understanding didn't make it hurt less. When my sister found out, she didn't speak to anyone for weeks. When she did, it was only to say she wanted nothing from the family anymore. My brother reacted differently. He felt justified, almost relieved. He said our father had protected the family name. That blood mattered, that it wasn't personal. That was the moment I realized we were no longer a family. Legal disputes followed. Lawyers replaced conversations. Documents replaced memories. The house where we grew up became just another asset. My mother aged rapidly during that time. Guilt consumed her. She blamed herself for everything. The secret, the division, the destruction. Eventually the inheritance was settled, the money was distributed, and the family was gone. Today, years later, we barely speak. Birthdays pass without messages. Holidays are quiet. The inheritance that was supposed to secure our future only left emptiness behind. People say money reveals who people truly are. I disagree. Money doesn't change people. It removes the masks. My father believed he was doing the right thing. Maybe in his mind, he was. But what he left us wasn't just land or money. It was a lesson. That secrets rot families from the inside. That silence can be more destructive than truth. And that inheritance, when mixed with unresolved emotions, can cost far more than it gives. If you're listening to this and facing something similar, Remember this. No amount of money can replace peace. No inheritance is worth losing your humanity. And sometimes, the greatest legacy you can leave is honesty.